Welcome to the Fans Ed Sports Show. Talk about the X's and O's. Talk and break down for the success of each team.
Slow your roll.
Whether he has something to do with it or not, we are adding that to the clock.
No team gonna freaking run the ball like that. That's challenging your manhood.
Not too much.
People still remember that.
So look, I don't need to hear anything from you, Mike.
It's been a crazy week for college football.
They value seniority.
When they're looking at the schedule, that's a tough schedule. Go beat everyone.
You already know.
Let's go.
You already know.
Welcome to the Fans Ed Sports Show, hosted by your guy Cleveland Mike and your guy Truther, also produced by your very own Walt K. Disney. What's going on, folks? How you been this lovely week?
What's good? What's good? Hey,
Say
and
chilling.
while I have y'all here, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button for me. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe if you are not subscribed. Do us a favor and make sure you share this with all your friends because we're coming with you today with some crazy topics, some definitely crazy topics. So if y'all ready, y'all want to get to it?
For sure.
Well, all right, let's get into it.
Let's go straight to it.
What everybody's been talking about, this Michigan scandal. So let's talk about Ohio State involvement here. There is none, okay? There's reportedly no evidence that Ohio State head coach Ryan Day and his family were involved in the ongoing investigation into the Michigan sign stealing scandal. So whatever BS they coming out, not too much, okay? The NCAA told the Big Ten on Monday that it did not find any evidence that Day or members of his family were behind the ongoing investigation. And apparently, Day and his family members have received threats as a result of this story. Like, how ridiculous is this? And is it that worth that much for death threats to coach and his family members? Mike, what's your thoughts on this?
My thoughts is hey, me and Cam had this talk like a couple years ago about new media, and you got these people who are supposed to be journalists getting paid by journalist sites and things like that who do not vet stories, right? They were sitting on the story for months, actual smoke bomb, right? And it took new media, people on YouTube to actually put the news out. So, I think it's crazy that, and then I saw actually one of the guys who covered for it, and I called him out on Twitter. He ends up blocking me and changes things to private and deletes the tweets that he got exposed on. People are saying, oh, I'm a big fan of this guy and all of this stuff. You're a fan of a guy who covered up for an alleged pedo? Come on, man. My thing is if people actually knew and would just stop giving reign to these paid sites who do stuff for clickbait instead of having journalistic integrity at all, then Ryan Day's family wouldn't be receiving death threats. They took it too far.
Yeah, we got news today that basically the Big Ten was like, look, this is what we're doing. A couple days ago, and Michigan responded today about this is what they're doing. And I guess we're going to hear about what's going on. One side of the fence is saying they got leverage legally from the Michigan side, saying that the commissioner doesn't have the power and they want due process. Now, the interesting thing I find about that is their voice isn't really or their energy isn't really being put into proving their innocence. It's more so saying the way that you are punishing us, we think is too soon. It's too straightforward. We need an investigation. We want to draw this out. Basically, it's a far cry for them to be able to finish their season, which makes it even more pathetic to me, because it's like you aren't even focusing on proving yourself as non-cheaters. You're trying to focus on proving that everyone else cheats, proving that The Big Ten is at fault. The Ohio State, Michigan State, and I have to give their media some credit for this. Even the bullshit media, they in some way have successfully spun the narrative and put enough attention on other schools. So where we're even talking about Ryan Day and Purdue sharing signs and doing things like this. And that was all by design for them to muddy the waters of public opinion about what's right and what's wrong. And Mike, I've been in the trenches on spaces, on group chats, talking about the differences of what Ryan Day allegedly did, because he came out today and said he didn't share any information with Purdue and other teams. So boom. I don't mean to go long, but I think that
go into it because we need to, because there are a lot of people out here who don't understand like the coaching aspect of this, and they don't understand football or the rules governing the NCAA football, like that you're a part of. People keep talking about this due process like it's a court, but when you have video and someone can say, hey, here's the video of so-and-so doing something, and you're looking at it, this is not a court. You can fire that person immediately. Like if you join a business and you're part of a business or whatever, and we have evidence of you stealing the paper clip or whatever off of so-and-so desk and you lied about it, we got you. We can let you go immediately. Ain't no due process, ain't no law and all of this shit.
Right.
Yeah. So for instance, say I'm Ohio State and Mike's Purdue, right? And they're about to play Illinois. Ryan Day calls up the Illinois coach and say, hey, coach, when they get in this cover 2 look, whenever we came out 11-12 personnel, we had success doing this and doing that, like blah, 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 blah. And they may have taken some notes throughout the game about some signals. So it's like maybe it'll say, oh, whenever he rubbed his stomach, we saw that, they were putting like a cloud coverage, or they were doing this, or we thought it was a blitz or whatever. So look out for this, right? Very loose information. Now, how is that comparable to what is happening with Michigan? Because if you look at Rutgers, for instance, they have 4 people out there calling the signs, right? How on God's green earth are you going to be able to decode that in 4 quarters while you're calling your own plays and then have it be accurate enough to pass on to the next team for them to have an actual advantage? The chances of you decoding signals in the game is slim to none, especially against teams that use multiple signal callers and teams that are switching up. Now,
unless you have a database.
Now, so the difference is, so all of the disadvantages that I just said about sign stealing and why it's so hard to decode, because one thing, Mike, too, they might have a different game plan. They might not even call the same plays the next week, and you didn't gave them all these signals and all that shit. So wait, that goes into my point with Connor Steins. He did what he did because he needed to watch 10 consecutive games, 8 consecutive games, to see when they switch the signals, to see who's calling the plays, and then go through clips, slow motion, like, oh, they're running a fire zone whenever he does this. Oh, he did that again against Illinois. Oh, he did that again against Iowa. That sign means a fire blitz. Write that down, laminate it. That's extremely different than Ryan Day or someone giving someone some type of advice, basically, of what's happening week in, week out. The information and the accuracy is not even in the same planet, like, at all.
Yeah.
They say that they steal signs all the time in the NFL. I did see someone mention that earlier on, I don't know if it was the First Take or something like that. So they
I was listening to Richard Sherman, and you hear all of the NFL guys talking about it, and they're talking about it from an NFL point of view. And yes, any team can go and watch the TV copy, right? And then sometimes you get where the TV copy shows a team doing their signals and things like that, right? Yes, you can get that. or whatever. That's not what they're talking about. What they're talking about is buying a ticket on the home side, buying a ticket on the visitor side, and recording both sidelines the entire game. That is different. And like Cam continues to say, you can't when people say that they're stealing signs during a game, right? It's in a game. It's hard for you to decode mid-game. But if you have done that for 8 games during a 12-game season, you have majority of their signals. You've seen different game plans for each team, so you know, oh, if they go to this game plan, we kind of know exactly where they're going here. So it's all different advantages. But I mean, you know, the big Michigan is talking about bringing lawyers into this, and I think it's crazy because just more evidence continues to come out, and you bring the lawyers into this, and we're finding out things we shouldn't even be finding out about, right? But you keep just peeling off the layers of the onion, and you just gonna keep finding out more. So, Cam, can you go into what they found? Connor Stallions is in business with a player allegedly. I didn't know that staff members could be in business with players. That's crazy.
Allegedly, he has a LLC, real estate LLC with Connor O'Day and Blake Corum, and they purchased a $500,000 house 2 weeks or a month after the creation of the LLC. Allegedly, well, that's not allegedly, that's facts. But so I mean, that's just developing. We just saw Menace, our boys over there, drop the information with that. That's still fluid and developing. So I mean, I really can't get any more into that. But people got eyes on that. But I can't imagine that that's legal, Mike. So you're right. I can't imagine that you're allowed to be in business with your coach. That's like Ryan Day saying, "Come be the starting quarterback at Ohio State. We'll open up a burger joint." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
Just doesn't seem like that's really logical or ethical at the same time, especially with the NCAA. So we'll see what comes of that, but I don't think it's going to be good, especially since if you Pete, the media asked Blake Corum about it, and he denied it, and then once it got on the internet, he lawyered up. So do with that information what you will.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're saying yes, you can create an LLC, put anybody's name on it, but you know, you want to talk about the Big Ten's thing about lack of institutional control. You got this guy who, let's just say hypothetically, he did all of this sign stealing on his own, right? But then you also have allowed this guy to commit federal crimes against your own players, and you don't know about that either. Nobody found out about that. Had to be a media person who finds out about this. Like, they're not taking this investigation serious enough. And because when you talk about it, like Ohio State, the Urban Meyer thing, Ohio State knew. They had already investigated it. They said, we're going to let due process play out. That was the police department. Police department didn't go any further, right? But you get the public outcry. And what did Ohio State do? They went and got an outside investigator. And a lot of people did not read that investigation report. But when you go out and you get an outside investigator, they find out all of those other things, right? So, I mean, they're deflecting. You know, they sound like the little sibling, you know, who got caught in trouble. Nobody else got caught. They got to snitch on big brother, big sister, all of that stuff. So that just seems like what we're in with them. And, you know, you find out that they were served a notice, and I haven't got to go into their response, but I think it's crazy that they denied the punishment from the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, we talked about the revenue aspect of this, but you really are effing your revenue up with that new TV contract. And now you're looking at all these other teams like, okay, yeah, go ahead, screw you. I'll take your money.
I feel like it's going to be a back and forth, especially between them and the Big Ten for sure. I hate to play benefit of the doubt type of person, but is it a possibility that Blake signed the papers without like really reading what he was signing? You know, if he was a part of that LLC.
But you got to think though, Diz, this is the same dude when they asked Aiden Hutchinson in the Detroit press about, do you know who Connor Steins is? And he told us that he was just a guy that was upstairs that was never around the team. So it just seems very ambitious for a guy that has no relationship or no one knows to go pick the star running back of the team to forge his signature or to try to dupe into some kind of scam for him to even get him to sign a paper. So it just doesn't seem believable to me from just my experience of being on a sideline and my experience of watching sidelines and knowing about how Ohio State and other schools like do things. It doesn't make any sense for this guy to be so unimportant, but being connected to so many important people. Jim Harbaugh doesn't have any idea of his sign stealing schemes, and he doesn't talk to him, but he's in business and has an LLC with a $500,000 property on it with your star running back. So,
and again, how is this guy getting this money? Because he only made $55,000, and that's before taxes, bro. But this guy's buying $1,000 worth of freaking tickets, putting people up in hotels, paying for their food as well. We didn't heard about all of this, and it's beyond baffling to me. And like I felt like I came up with a solution if I was the president of that team up north, because I'm just like, I don't want this to set our program, our moneymaker, back 5 to 10 years, going back into a rebuild, into the Brady Hoke years and all of that, right? So you go ahead, you take your punishment for this year. We got caught, we effed up. It is what it is. We take our lump. We disqualify ourselves from Big Ten championship, all of that. Just allow us to play the game, but we won't play postseason, right? And to me, that's fine. You go ahead, you suspend the head coach, the DC and the OC, and you wait till the offseason to see what the NCAA did. But now you could say, hey, time served, things like that. We didn't go forward with this. You could kind of save grace a little bit. But now you sitting here telling people, no, we're not taking this punishment. No, we want to wait on this. All you're doing is pissing people off. And I see, we got a comment in here saying Michigan wants the money. They don't want out the big. They're posturing. If you want the money, just take the punishment that they're giving you. Because right now the punishment could be you losing that money now in a bigger fine. Because like I said, if you already got head coaches saying on record with their face out there saying these aren't allegations, these are facts. These are facts. And again, don't just think that they're talking about the film and the things that they just found at their school. They're hearing and seeing the evidence that other schools have been presenting as well.
Right. I mean, we're just to the point where it's hearsay, she said. We even got Michigan fans doubling back and saying they don't even know if there's proof of Connor Steins even being in the wrong and he's fired. The Blue Anon group that's going on right now, it's just I'm waiting for the Big Ten to just come out and finally fucking say what's happening. Let us know what's happening. Are you putting a hammer on Harbaugh in Michigan, or are you not? Is he implicated? Do you have any evidence of him being involved or doing any of this, or do you just come out and let us hear what the hell is going on? Because all of this pity pat bullshit is really interesting to me. But when you have a top 10 matchup on Saturday between the two other smaller programs in the Big Ten under Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State, trying to basically have a game against each other that's going to have playoff implications possibly, especially for Penn State. If they beat Michigan, they're going to be cheering for them to beat us to get that Big Ten championship and possibly make a playoff and backdoor in there. So we're dealing with all of this, and it's just nobody really has real information. Nobody knows what's going on. The journalists, they're all saying if they're a Michigan alum, they're saying they didn't do anything wrong, and the Ohio State side saying they did stuff wrong, and then ESPN and blah blah blah, and Joel Klatt is on Harbaugh's meat. So it's just like, who knows, bro? Everybody's picked their sides. Everybody has their opinions. All that matters is the presidents, the ADs, the coaches that are involved, and the commissioner, and what the fuck they think, and how Harbaugh is going to react to that punishment. Until we hear that, bro, the rest of the shit is just pointless to me. Even though I love arguing it, but it's still pointless.
All eyes are on the Big Ten in Michigan as it still keeps progressing. We'll see. I feel like Michigan is definitely going to drag this out as long as possible.
I'll say this as my final point. Everybody's talking about, the Big Ten don't want to miss out on money and all of this stuff or whatever. And, this team keeps getting the benefit of the doubt with their dog shit schedule. But why can't, the leader of the Big Ten this year be an Ohio State or a Penn State? We could even talk about how maybe the two Big Ten teams that got in last year could have been Ohio State and Penn State. That got robbed.
Is Michigan even beating Penn State in ratings this year? They might be 3 behind us in Penn State. Honestly.
I just find it.
We've survived 20 years of Michigan being absolutely dog shit, and we're adding Oregon, who right now is in the same conversation as them and us as far as being a playoff contender. We've seen Oregon in multiple national championships in the playoff era and the BCS era. We've seen USC win a BCS championship and come back and be a blue blood program. Like we got Washington that's coming over. Like we have programs that are coming to the Big Ten that are going to benefit from the exposure. And that's not even including the FSUs and the rumors of the Clemsons and things like that coming over. So it's like, I understand like what they're saying. It's just all embarrassing. Like Doreen is saying, like Michigan, a lot of people don't know that Michigan is the founder of the Big Ten. Like there is no Big Ten without Michigan. There is no modern college football really without the direction of Michigan and how they went about organizing athletic departments and taking football serious and like doing all that. They're low-key like a pioneer when it comes to that of what we know college football to be. That's why they're number 1 in wins, because they were taking it serious first in the 1800s and beating up Dennis. So it's like, you guys are this program that's supposed to be like, the standard, and y'all throwing a hissy fit about the pseudo conference that you started because of a coach that got caught cheating or got implicated in cheating. And it's sad to me, especially because Mike, me and you, we've been through 2 coaches that got fired, bro.
I'll tell you this.
It make me feel like, bro, I
ain't doing no crime with nobody from that team up north, bro, because they go snitch. They go rat, bro. They get caught, they rat, bro.
Mike, was we supposed to like go get the pitchforks and the torches for Jim Tressel? Because if y'all tripping about this, bro, we should have went stupid over Jim Tressel getting fired for what he did. Because this is unprecedented. They about to sue the conference, bro. That is crazy. Everybody has taken their L's. We've seen Alabama on sanctions. We've seen Miami on sanctions. We've been on sanctions. Penn State been on sanctions.
SMU got the death penalty.
Everybody's been on sanctions. Everybody's had to fire a coach. Tennessee's been on sanctions. Everybody's been in trouble, bro. It's y'all turn. Quit acting like hoes. Like, bro.
Hoes mad.
Like, you know what I'm saying? There's like everybody gets in trouble, bro. Like it happens. Like
you definitely right. You're not above the law. You definitely not above the law.
Like, bro, fire that man. He ain't even got a natty. We fired 2 natty winning coaches. Name another school that that have done that. This in the short time frame between Tressel and Urban Meyer, we won from 2002 to 14. So in a 12-year span, we fired 2 national championship winning coaches. I don't think any program's ever had a turnover like that. Maybe LSU. Maybe.
Yeah, they saying Vaughn in the chat saying LSU has
LSU, yeah. So LSU understands. But other than that, bro, it's like, bro, everybody get in trouble, man. Take it late.
That's why you can't be in business with them hoes, man, because they tell, man. They be telling.
They definitely do. Hey, while I have y'all here, make sure y'all go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button for me. We appreciate y'all tuning in this evening. We coming to y'all with content all night. But we're gonna talk about Michigan a little bit more later. But let's get into some Week 10 recap before we do. Yes. Oh, it looks like Milroe shows us what he's made of as Alabama takes down LSU 42-28 this past week. Jalen Milroe has been shy about running the football, but this season, but he wasn't against LSU. I like what I saw from him, and that's a lot coming from me. He was rushing for about 155 yards, which I think was a program record for 4 touchdowns. So, and he found 8 different pass catchers. And then as for Jaden Daniels, he did get injured in this game, but before he left, he was 15 of 25, passing for about 200 and something yards, I want to say, through the air. But does this mean, will we see Bama back in the SEC champs? I think they only have Auburn and Kentucky left.
Yeah.
So did they bounce back this season?
Yeah, right now you definitely might as well go ahead and put them in. And I mean, as you watching the game, it was really a back and forth game, and you just was thinking, it's whose defense can make the stop, right? And the way the game was going, I was just like, man, I think Bama is gonna be that team because I just felt like they had the better defense, and their defense did. They came up big against LSU, and that was, to me, that was the difference in the game. It changed the momentum of the game, and then you just see Bama was able to kind of just run away with the game. So, but still, shout out to LSU and what they did. Still a good season, you know. I mean, only under year 2 under Brian Kelly, but you know. Yeah. We knew what Bama was coming for after last year, so
yeah, I mean, happen again. We knew that what we needed out of LSU, like they needed another Herculean performance out of their quarterback, and he got hurt. But Alabama, man, Brian Kelly's got a little bit more work to do building that roster with the depth. You can definitely see that on the defense. They didn't really have the same type of guys that they usually have up front, especially in the front 7, rotating in as far as that 2 and 3 deep look, specifically on the D line from what I'm used to seeing, and the secondary. That they got to get that defense together before I think we see LSU get back to kind of what we're used to seeing from them. Because as soon as Jaden went down, it was kind of just like the writing on the wall, and Alabama's quarterback kind of took over the game. But I mean, if Jaden stays in the game, you never know what he could do, especially with the talent that he's done, and we've seen him do it already. So last year against Alabama, so he got hurt, and it is what it is, man. Bama got the dub.
Nick Saban does it again. All right, turning to the Bulldogs, they turned in a 30-21 victory over the Tigers and extended their win streak to 26 total games. And apparently, what I did know that this game pulled in approximately 7 million viewers and was the second most watched game of the weekend. So it was a big game for a lot of people in the SEC. But anyway, getting back to the game, Carson Beck seemed pretty efficient in the game. And he doesn't seem too frazzled to me. So I'm interested to see what he can do for the rest of the season. And, you know, they still have to play Tennessee. So, and they're playing a big game this weekend, which we're going to talk about as well. At this point, who do you think will actually be able to beat the Bulldogs, Mike?
Honestly, I don't really see anybody beating them. The reason why this game was one of the most viewed is because everybody was saying that this is a trap game. Georgia, everybody was looking for that upset. And I mean, it was a close game for a minute, but to be honest, you never really felt like Georgia was going to be, out of the game. And their defense did seal it when he threw the interception to the big man. And, he almost ran it in for a touchdown until he got tripped up at the end. But I mean, everybody's saying that the potential team could be Ole Miss. I just don't see it. It looks like Georgia is getting together, getting their offense together. They got McConkey back as well. And, yeah, I just think Georgia will keep rolling and probably will see Alabama in the SEC championship game.
I thought that game was extremely telling as far as the coaching went. I felt like Georgia kind of did the ball control thing against them a little bit, and keeping that offense off the field without them letting them get in rhythm because they had a bunch of guys that can make explosive plays. But if you look at the box score, I mean, they literally were identical as far as like stats. Total yards 363, 385 Georgia, 212, 254 passing Georgia. They outrushed Georgia 151 to 131 Mizzou, 5.8 yards per play, 5.9 yards per play. Both had 21 first downs. Both went 6 for 13 on third down. Both went 1 for 1 on fourth down. One has 63 plays, other has 65, 4 punts. The only thing that really shows up on this is 2 turnovers for Missouri and 10 minutes of time of possession for Georgia. So I don't know. Some people are going to come away and say they're impressed with that win against Georgia. But they did what they were supposed to do. But I don't know.
It's not the old Georgia defense.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
I know exactly what Cam was looking for, but it's not. They have to find different ways to win this year, just like Ohio State does.
Yeah, as an OU fan, I gotta respect that as well.
Yeah,
we have to do that as well. So it is what it is. But we know why but that's a different story. We ain't gonna get into that. But we know what we dealing what we dealing with because we got a thumb at quarterback. But that's a different story.
We'll be getting into that in a couple weeks, guys.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for that because that show's going to be a doozy.
Yeah, but Georgia was just a better coach team at that day, honestly. So a turnover skill, you can't turn the ball over against Georgia. Because in the fourth quarter, they always fucking play. So,
yep, you're exactly right. And for our last game of Week 10 recap, onto the game will make you cry. USC falls to Washington 52-42 against Washington, and it seemed like Lincoln was dodging a lot of questions and not taking accountability. I always talk about how I'm a Lincoln Riley fan, and I admit that I was wrong due to trash. But he fought against generalizing the whole season, even though most of his issues have been around the defense, and the same thing for the previous weeks. He deflected the questions about handling his defense, but we did see some changing, some coaching staff changing for USC. But what's next for Caleb Williams? He took the L hard, as we saw crying to mama. It's nothing like a mom's love and embrace at the end of a hard fought game. He spent 3 years at college at 2 different schools without a conference or a national champ. But he's still putting up the numbers plays though. So he was efficient in this game. Cam, I'll start with you. I know you're not a big Caleb Williams fan. So but what did you see in this win for Washington? And we could talk about Michael Penix as well. And what do you think is next for USC?
I mean, Washington did what they were supposed to do. I mean, they went up against an Alex Grinch defense and absolutely torched it. I think their running back, I think they rushed for 100 yards once the entire season. He ran for 258. That defense is completely inept and just dog shit awful. So there's really nothing to take from that. But as far as Caleb Williams, this is the story of every quarterback that plays for Lincoln Riley. You know, you're in a league where some people question the competition that you're playing, and you light up a bunch of teams that nobody watched. Like last year. I said this last year. I won CJ Stroud. I said he was better than Caleb Williams last year. I'm saying he's better than Caleb Williams right now. He's been better than Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams last year, while CJ Stroud was getting killed for losing to Michigan, he was lighting up Arizona and lighting up San Jose State or whoever. And I don't know. But I don't want to bash him, but it's a Lincoln Riley quarterback. Don't put up the numbers, but everything's questionable as far as leadership. That's the same thing that we heard about Baker Mayfield coming out. It's the same thing that we heard about Kyler Murray coming out. His attitude and the whole video game things and watching film. So I don't know. It's just how Lincoln Riley runs his program. He's got a Heisman, but moving forward, I think USC's done. I'll be surprised if Caleb Williams finishes the season with USC.
Yeah, and I mean Washington, Michael Penix, they came out, did exactly what we thought that they were going to do. You know, if you want to have a shootout with them, they're prepared for it. And then when you want to talk about defense, like I was saying in the Alabama LSU game, it was all about whose defense was going to get that stop, right? And I just felt like Washington has a better defense than Alex Grinch. Even though I don't think Washington's defense is all that, it's always going to be better than Alex Grinch. Now, on the USC front, man, somebody go give Caleb Williams his blankie. I don't know why these quarterbacks continue to put their trust in Lincoln Riley, because no, he's not going to get you to the national championship. He's not going to get you over the hump. This is what we continue to see. And I mean, you can blame Alex Grinch for this game and some other ones, but I mean, we can also talk about the Notre Dame game where Caleb Williams threw 3 picks, put his defense in bad situations as well. So, I mean, you know, I heard someone use the analogy of Caleb Williams plays hero ball, but name me a Lincoln Riley quarterback that hasn't had to play hero ball. Because if they don't, what is that offense? Baker Mayfield, hero ball. Kyler Murray, hero ball. Jalen Hurts, hero ball. Caleb Williams, hero ball. I have been talking about this Lincoln Riley offenses for years, and everybody just think that I'm just a hater and all of this stuff. People have said that this guy's better than freaking Ryan Day, and it shows over and over. I'm telling you, he's about to get in a conference like the Big Ten where you have to play defenses all the time, and shit's going to look a whole lot fucking different for his career and the title that everybody wants to put on his name.
There's a rumor mill that he's trying to go to the league too. So
I bet. I mean, he tried to run away from the SEC. I mean, then you're going to try to go to the Big Ten where you already saw your damn players had to play in a little bit of cold rain and wind. They couldn't handle that shit. Like, you'd have been better off sticking at Oklahoma going to the SEC. Playing in sunshine and rainbows every week.
Not too much, Mike.
That's true. I don't know, man. I don't really have an opinion about Lincoln Riley. I don't. He just, he's just always. It's just very weird to me that he's just always been the same. You know, not too high, not too low. But his stint at USC has been worse than that was at Oklahoma. So it's kind of like he regressed as a football coach at USC. And I think the combination of having all these great offenses in the Pac-12 was kind of the camel that broke the straw's back with Alex Grinch, because that defense is absolutely dog shit awful. Legendary dog shit awful. And whoa, wait a minute. Who was Ohio State D coordinator before Jeff Hafley?
Oh, you talking about that shitty ass 2018 defense that we had? Yeah, Alex Grinch was on there.
Wasn't
he fought for that Bryson Shaw nigga that was getting sexed up for a whole year. Yeah. So the one that Jim Knowles screamed up out of there with it. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, very familiar.
Hey, actually, where's Bryson Shaw gonna go? Because he don't got a guy pounding the table for him. Like, is he gonna follow Alex Grinch?
I don't think he
Wherever
got eligibility.
Huh?
I don't think it's eligibility. I think it's
Oh,
eligibility.
he got eligibility left. Yeah, he got the
He was a
COVID
sophomore
year.
at OSU, then he was a junior last year, senior this year. I guess he got one more. Yeah.
Yeah, he got COVID didn't count. Yeah, he got another year.
Shout out.
Hey, while I have y'all here, go ahead and hit that like button if y'all already haven't. We definitely appreciate it. Thank you. And
Like that.
go ahead and smash it. Let's get into some CFP rankings. The second edition of the college football playoff rankings were released Tuesday night, but the top four remain the same, and they're all still undefeated. And so by the looks of it, it looks like Oklahoma drops out, Ole Miss and Penn State move up. But I thought Washington could or would jump Florida State this week, but that hasn't happened yet. So I guess I'm still waiting to see. And it looks like 6 through 11 will definitely battle it out in the next couple of weeks. And some say that there's no consistency, and
There isn't because they told us that we're ranked number one because of our resume. So then why is Michigan in front of Florida State or Washington
or Georgia?
No, they're behind Georgia.
No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
yeah. I don't think that Georgia should be 2 and Michigan should be 3. I think that they should both be slid down. I mean, if you're going off a resume, so it's not consistent at all. And then also let's talk about Oregon. What other team have they been? Bama should be ahead of Oregon.
Bama should definitely be ahead. And Texas.
Yep. So I mean, they both got better wins than them. So like, what are we talking about? And this is what I tried to prep you guys on. You got to read the tea leaves because the committee, you don't know what they be doing. One minute they say, "Oh, resume matters here," and then the next minute, resume don't matter here. Oh, head to head matters. Then another minute, head to head don't matter. So I don't know, man.
I feel like Bama not being at 6 is or Texas. Bama or Texas. I don't know. You gotta give Texas above Bama because of the way they won. They beat Bama. It's fair and square. But you know that team that they beat is not what we're watching on the field right now. And that is the part where it's like even me who've been screaming SEC bias my entire life, but I'm just like, man, Nick Saban got them boys looking different than they did in that week 3 game.
Right.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. Hey, my boy Terry said this. How about this, Diz? Give me your opinion on this. What happens if Ohio State, Georgia, Florida State, and Ohio State, Georgia, Florida State, Washington all went out, and Alabama wins the SEC?
Oh, wow.
No, not Georgia. I'm sorry.
I was about to say, I was like, that doesn't
my bad. What happens if Ohio State, Florida State, Washington all went out, and Texas and Alabama win their conferences? What does the committee do?
Oh, the SEC get left out.
That's a real scenario.
Hold on. From what they said, when you have two, by their words and by their criteria, when you have two similar teams, you have to go by head to head.
Texas got the head to SEC out, bro. They'll never do that, bro.
I don't think they would ever take the SEC out. You know,
you have to.
I'm not
and that's my whole thing. Like, I feel like we need to know the real criteria, and we need to know, where do you value? Is head-to-head number one? Is resume number one?
Mike,
and I'll tell you this.
I
feel like this is the first time. I feel like this is the first time that they're really talking about like resume and what you have to do and all of this stuff, because Ohio State never got the benefit of the doubt for playing more P5s than the SEC team until now. Like, I mean, this is the first time that I feel like they kind of actually really went off a resume, especially when it came to a non-SEC team.
Yeah, Mike, I agree with you, but the SEC champ is making a playoff regardless. So
you telling me they're gonna leave Texas out?
Absolutely. For Alabama,
Absolutely.
if they're the SEC champ, yes. Bro, we've seen this, bro. We've been here before. Come on, bro. The SEC champion.
Way.
The SEC champion is not going to not be in a playoff, bro, ever.
Bro.
You know they want that money, Mike.
And it's ESPN, bro. Like, that's their brand.
Yeah.
Why would they not?
Yeah. Ain't no way.
All right, now that's where I say you go ahead and you sue some group, because it's like, don't sit here and tell me that this is your criteria, and then when they supposed to be similar, you're supposed to go with the head-to-head, and you don't do that.
You know what they do? They're gonna say down the stretch. You know what they're gonna pull out? What they pulled out for Bama that one time is that ET word eye test. That's exactly what
Oh my God,
bro. They always got their little buzzwords to get Bama in the playoff. You acting new, bro. You know how it go. They're gonna say the eye test. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Whatever
crazy.
they need to get Bama in the playoff, they're gonna do it, bro. We've seen it happen year
The
after
thing
year.
is I don't think that Washington's gonna finish undefeated, though. I think it's gonna be Oregon. Who's gonna win? I think Oregon's gonna beat them on neutral field. The game was so close. The game was so close, and Oregon was on the road.
See, that's the situation too, because if Oregon wins the Pac-12, then it's gonna be they're for sure leaving the Pac-12 out over that.
Oh yeah,
that's just cause,
hey, we know the committee don't F with the Pac-12 at all.
They're for sure getting left out. They're for sure getting left out. They're gonna be like, Bo Nix, Oregon, you out of here.
Yeah, hey, Phil Knight, you can come pick up all of them billboards that you put around the whole country.
Phil Knight, y'all be gonna be playing basketball on the Under Armour at Pelican Bay when I'm done with you. Give me that Nike shit.
Well, this can be a topic for another day, but does this mean that people are starting to lean a little bit more on the expanded college playoff bracket or with these rankings, or what do you think will come about this when we get into that play of the 2024?
I don't think that us sitting around the TV talking about the CFP and stuff is going to be that much more important anymore, because it's only 12 teams. So it's like for a Ohio State fan, a Georgia fan, a Bama fan, you're probably sitting there like, shit, we in, we good. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point of watching the rankings? It don't matter. It's all going, figure itself out now. Disney, you've been rocking with me for a minute. I was never a component of expanding the playoffs. I felt like if they wanted to expand it, go ahead and give the G5 schools their own playoff. And I would have loved to watch them Cincinnati's, the UCFs, and that Coastal Carolina. Like, I would have loved to watch them face off against each other. But, I mean, it's here. And, a lot of teams, I hear, they complain and they want to get rid of their coach and all of this stuff. Like, I done heard the Penn State fans. Look at you sitting there at 10, right? Mm-hmm. You only have one loss on the schedule or whatever in a 12-team playoff. You make the CFP. What are you talking about? You want your coach gone? Why would you want to go in a rebuild while there's about to be an expanded playoffs?
Imagine the teams like in the past that's been shitted on not being able to make the playoff because they can't beat Alabama, they can't beat Georgia, and they can't beat Ohio State. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the team that's going to benefit the most from this playoff expansion, I think Penn State is going to benefit the most, because they, for some reason, cannot beat us ever, but their track record in bowl games in New Year's Six is not bad at all. Mm-hmm. Whenever they play out
that team up north.
Yeah, whenever they play out of conference, James Franklin have them boys ready. So I'll be very interested to see what it will look like to see some of these other Big Ten schools that really have never gotten an opportunity on that stage to play, especially with that home field advantage in December coming up north and playing some of those games, some of those teams. So I think we'll see a lot of other teams like get hot. maybe a 2-loss team that you've seen, like a quarterback gets hurt and the team comes in, and you know what I mean. Like, I think we're just going to see certain teams get into this playoff and get hot and just upset a favorite, and I think that's just going to be the college football level of March Madness any given Saturday.
Yeah, I'm excited. Cam, you actually, like, you brought up a good point. Like, you know, just because you couldn't beat an Ohio State or a Georgia, you know, like, a lot of people think that these Big Ten teams have just sucked, right? But what's been their biggest hurdle? It's been Ohio State. Wisconsin, they had to play Ohio State 2 times in 1 year, once in the regular season and then in the Big Ten championship. And I think that those were their only 2 losses, right? Yeah. So it's like, imagine if they had have won in that Big Ten championship game, they go to the CFP.
Don't forget, in 2016, was it? Wisconsin was 12-0 with Melvin Gordon and all those boys, and they had the number 1 defense, and we just 50-balled them boys. And
you talking about 2014? Yeah, 59-0.
No, there was another year when they were number 4 in the country, going into the Big Ten championship. They were about to make a playoff, and we beat them and went to the playoff. I think that's the year that we lost to Clemson, bro, if I'm not mistaken. No.
In 2016, we didn't make it because Penn State had beat us and went.
Am I thinking of 17? Hold on, bro.
There was 2 years. You are correct. There was 2 years. It was 2014, and then that's when they had Melvin Gordon. And then there was another year where if they had beat us, they would have went to the CFP. But that's what I'm saying, because people like to bring up Wisconsin as one of those, oh, you don't play anybody. But before the Graham Mertz era, them boys was balling, bro. Them boys was balling. They was a double-digit win team just about every year. So,
yeah, it was 2017.
Okay,
we were 10-2, and they were 12-0, and they were ranked number 4 before the final playoff ranking, and they were picked to go to the playoff, bro. And we beat them 27-21.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, I know that hurt.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Just because you can't get past Ohio State, people think you suck.
Yep. And that's when we went and played USC that year. Sam Darnold and all them boys.
Spank that ass.
Yep.
Hey, and if you haven't, go ahead. I'm going to keep banging it to death. Hit that like and subscribe button, as well as share. We really do appreciate y'all hanging with us tonight. But let's get into some Week 11 preview. Michigan takes on Penn State Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. I feel like the QB has possibly showed some potential.
12 o'clock, big noon kickoff.
Oh, sorry, 12 o'clock, big noon kickoff. I don't know where I got 10. That sounds hella early. My bad. But I feel like the Penn State QB has showed some potential through the air last week when he threw for 4 touchdowns in his win over Maryland. He'll be going up against the Wolverines defense that has been tough as nails this season. But is that only because of the recent scandal? I feel like this is a game that Coach Franklin must win in order to keep his team in the division race. Mike, what's your take on this game? What are you looking for out of this game?
Honestly, I'm looking to see what Penn State can do on the offensive side of the ball. I think this is a really big game. You know, a lot of people have criticized Penn State for what they had did and what they put together. What was that, against Ohio State, right? They faced a lot of criticism, but you see them trying to attack teams down the field now. You see them, Drew Aller feeling a little bit comfortable. And what Ohio State fans was trying to tell Penn State, yes, you've been beating up on these lower level teams and everything, but you hadn't faced an actual team yet. Well, Penn State has now. And the one team that hasn't is that team up north. And to be honest, since the leaking of the Stein ceiling and all of that, they look a little bit different, and they look like they could possibly get caught with a team that can match up with them. The biggest question mark that I have is James Franklin in big games because he's known to do some dumb shit.
You're exactly right about that, Mike.
You know what? I'm gonna go with a different take, man. I'm gonna give James Franklin the benefit of the doubt because the main thing with him has always been he doesn't have the quarterback. He doesn't have that guy. He doesn't have that 5-star quarterback that can make the plays. Drew Aller last week, it started at Indiana and saw it a little bit. Drew Aller last week against Maryland looked like he kind of came into his grown man and got rid of that mental block, and he just letting that thing go. They got some of them young boys, some freshman wide receivers coming in. It kind of found out they kind of figured out that Cephas is their number one guy outside of Lambert Smith to go to, and he was dotting boys up against Maryland, bro. So people gonna say I'm biased, Mike. They know I love Drew Aller, you know, but if that version of Drew Aller comes out and plays against Michigan at home, I think it gets very interesting, especially because we have seen for 2-3 weeks now, Michigan offensive line having struggles getting pushed and getting that run game going. Michigan last week threw the ball 37 times and didn't cover. That's not the Michigan football that we've been used to being watching. That's not like them against a 2-6 Purdue team with 8 starters out, and you're throwing the ball 37 times to chase a cover because you want to beat the narrative that the guy whispering in your offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators' ears is the reason why you're so dominant, and you still don't cover because your starting quarterback gets cooked. So I don't know, man. Like, give me Purdue. I mean, give me Penn State, man. I think that what we saw from JJ last week, the timing and the rhythm was off for some odd reason. Once they played a defense,
holding the ball longer.
Yeah, whenever had some type of cerebral, like switching the coverages, a lot of those misreads that he had last week are going to be interceptions against Penn State. Also, if you haven't noticed, they sent a lot of zero blitz to get pressure against Purdue. Not the 4-man rush really wasn't hitting like the way it usually does. If you zero blitz Penn State, I feel like with the new Drew Aller that we've seen, he's going to take those shots, and we've seen receivers getting opportunities one-on-one against Michigan's DBs make plays. So I don't know, man. Give me the Nittany Lions, bro.
And I will say this, bro. Those DBs, they looked a little suspect on some play action pass when they didn't know that the pass was just coming, bro. And I think that Penn State got some guys who can run by them. Like, no, they don't have a Marvin Harrison Jr. or anything like that. But I saw a guy who I think can get past their DB, and that definitely can take the top off of a defense. And I really want to see how JJ reacts because, like I say, he's been holding the ball a lot longer, and Penn State is athletic up front. Now, I do want to see Penn State's O-line hold up because they didn't really hold up that well against Ohio State. So I do want to see the O-line do a better job. So it's going to be a battle, but yeah, I'm rolling with Penn State like Cam with this.
All right. And for our next matchup, the Rebels battle the Bulldogs in Georgia on ESPN. The Bulldogs haven't missed a beat without their tight end, but they might be tested on the defense side by a pretty good Rebels offense that has been a force under Jackson Dart and the running back that they also have. I wouldn't be surprised, how Lane Kiffin likes to coach if he had a couple of tricks up his sleeve. After all, an upset over Georgia could possibly boost them up in the rankings, but we'll see. I think this will definitely, I definitely want to see the battle of QBs in this matchup here. So I definitely have Georgia winning this game, but I think it will be fun to see Ole Miss and Georgia go head-to-head this weekend. Cam, what you got for this game?
I think if Ole Miss can get them in a shootout, and don't let Georgia do what they've been doing basically is getting teams and getting that 10-point lead late in the third and then just sitting on that clock and with that run game. But they can get them in a quick shootout. I think that they got the type of defense that's built for that. Like I said last show, they got a good pass rush. So I think they can get some turnovers and force some turnovers to make Carson Beck feel uncomfortable. They got to get Georgia to abandon the run game and get into a shootout. And if they can do that, then I can see Ole Miss getting upset. But if they let Georgia control the clock and get a lead, it's just going to be a slow death for Ole Miss.
Yeah, my thing is Kiffin's not too great in these big games as well. And I really just feel like Georgia's putting everything together on the offensive side. Is coming along. Carson Beck seems to look a little bit more comfortable in the offense, which I wish Kyle McCord would just look. And he actually is playing with some confidence as well. So, I mean, like I said, I think that Georgia is going to end up facing Bama in the SEC championship game. Now, if Lane Kiffin came away with this, I wouldn't be shocked because, he's been known as an offensive guy, right? I seen him making an adjustment last year. The passing game really wasn't there. They were more of a running team, but he made that adjustment on offense. What you normally don't see a Lane Kiffin team have is some competent defense, and they do have a little bit of competent defense. It's not one of the better defenses out there, but it's okay. It's better. I think it's better than what he has had in previous years. So let's see what Lane Kiffin can do. I still got Georgia in this.
Okay. And then for our last matchup, we got Oregon hosts Caleb Williams in the USC after the firing of the defensive coordinator.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, actually, does Caleb Williams even play?
Man, This is about to be a bloodbath, man. Get them boys. Is it on the road too?
Yeah.
Oh Lord, yeah. We might see Lincoln Riley quit at halftime and go put his app into the NFL.
I mean, what's the benefit of Caleb Williams playing in this game? Pac-12 championship out the window. You can kiss that goodbye, right?
Yeah.
We already know that. Playoffs, kiss that goodbye. We already know you're probably going to sit out the bowl game. So shouldn't Lincoln Riley just go ahead and start prepping for next season and getting that quarterback together? Because they got one hell of a slate next year.
Yeah, Oregon by a landslide. That's obvious.
For sure. And also, my thing is this is one of them defenses that I'm talking about. You can't really be playing hero ball against this defense. And Notre Dame already showed the blueprint. So you go out there, throw another 3 picks.
I see them
looking like Drake May.
Oregon's run game is too efficient. They don't stand a chance.
Hey, it looked like, if he go out here and Caleb Williams go out here throw 3 picks, bro, you can solidify Drake May number 1 for the draft.
On the record.
Yeah, you can put me on the record,
man. Drake May, that's major. That's major. Right? Hey, Oregon can't slip up though. So as long as they do what they need to do, wrap it up, then they'll walk away with the dub. Yep. All right. Well, one last time while I have y'all here, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button for me. I really do appreciate y'all hanging out with us this evening. And before we go, is there anything? I have a little new segment called Say It With Your Chest. Is there anything before we go, Cam, that you would like to get off your chest for this live? And you gotta hop out. I know you gotta run, but go ahead. Say it with your chest, Cam.
Ohio State's going to Ann Arbor and taking us all away from Michigan.
Damn.
I'm going to take their soul. That's it. Nothing extravagant, nothing. It's everything that they said about us. We're soft or this and that. It's just going to come out in 4K that like this just took their soul, just took their heart. But they know they're going to be ass next year. They banking on winning a natty this year. We're just going to kill all that shit.
Well, I just had to be my chest ready, because I'm about to say this with my chest. Team Up North fans, you can bank on this. Even if they allow y'all to continue to go to the CFP, you will not win a national championship. And I also want to tell y'all this because you can also put me on the record for this as well. If Penn State goes out there and spank y'all ass, it will validate all this cheating shit that they've been putting out there. It will validate everything. And then to me, that would tell me if I'm James Franklin, I'm coming out in the post game and saying you cost me a playoff berth last year because it still should have been two big teams in there, just not that shitty ass Michigan getting sexed up by TCU. Is that what the conference want as the embarrassment? That's what you want to put out there? Is getting sexed up by a TCU? Who is it going to be this year? Florida State sexing them up? Yeah, I'd rather have Penn State out there, man. Yeah, that's my little say it with your chest.
Hey.
Fuck them.
Appreciate y'all for hanging out with us tonight. And before we leave, Mike, do me a favor. Tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at 216_wildboy. Catch me on the Twitter Spaces. Catch me in the group chats. Also, you can catch me in the Twitter community that we have, Best Damn Media Ohio State Chat, and college football community as well. I'll be doing Ohio State post-game shows every Saturday after the Ohio State game. Also, catch us at Best Damn Media for our pregame show. Ron and Q do a fire job every morning with Buckeye Roast. And you can catch me, Cam, Ron, and Q every Sunday for Buckeye BS right here on Best Damn Media Network on YouTube. Make sure you hit like, make sure you subscribe, and also hit that notification bell so you know when we go live.
Yeah, you can find me at I Know Things 19 on Twitter. I'm going to be on a Buckeye Roast tomorrow as well for my debut on there with my man Ron. I'll be on a Buckeye BS every Sunday at 10 a.m. Yeah, so appreciate y'all boys coming and girls.
And as for me, you can find me on all social media handles at Walt K Disney. For any show ideas or anything you want to see on the show, just go ahead and hit me up and slide in those DMs. And with that, anything else?
That's it.
All right. Y'all have a good week, folks.
We'll see you same time, same place next week.